Good evening, everybody. This is Veronica Marie, and we are here to discuss dating in 2022, right? I want to make sure you can hear me. So, in the chat, if you will, let me know if you can hear me. Hey there, everybody. So, this teaching is going to be live streamed to YouTube, but it's private. And after I'm done with the 5 teachings, I plan to bundle these and put them up on my website for sale. So I wanted you guys to be here to help me get the information out in a live way. Okay. So I felt inspired to have this teaching because I realized that the collective in general is just having a problem with dating. I see it on social media. I hear it in my client sessions. I hear my friends talk about it. And I'm here as an influencer to the collective. So I thought I could add my 2 cents to this and see if I can help somebody. Okay. I've been thinking about how I want to start this, right? And I was reminded of a study when I was getting my degree in behavioral health psychology. There were plenty of studies, case studies that we had, and studies that helped me understand how groups develop. And as I began to pay attention to the way the groups developed, I thought to myself, hey, this applies to dating. And this is important because we usually start dating and nobody is giving us a map. Nobody is teaching us much of anything about emotional development or psychology or connection or intimacy. And so I figured a good place for us to start tonight would be understanding the phases of dating as I present them here tonight. And so what I'm looking at is called Tuckman's Stages of Group Development. And I'm going to relate this to dating. These stages are commonly known as forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. This model explains how a team develops maturity and ability, how relationships established, and how changes occur. Okay. And so the first stage of development of a group, and we're going to call this the first stage of dating. I'm giving you a blueprint or a framework. Now you can fix this to be however you want it to be. This is kind of like a skeleton. Okay. So take from it what you will and come up with your own model of stages of dating so you can understand where you are in each stage, and therefore you have some idea on how to function within the relationship. Okay. So the first stage is forming. The initial forming phase is the process of putting the team together. In dating, this would be we meet. Team members feel ambiguous and conflict is avoided at all costs due to the need to be accepted into the group. All right. And you can see the likeness to dating. Both people feel ambiguous. You don't know what to think. You don't know what to feel. You don't know what to expect. And you're usually putting forth your best effort, usually. Usually, you're not interested in debate or conflict resolution or anything like that because you are interested in bonding or getting to know the person or whatever it is. So here are the observable behaviors. Politeness. When you first meet a person, you want to be polite, usually. I'm talking about usually. I know in every circumstance this is not true, but usually. Usually, you avoid controversy. I don't think anybody really meets a person and wants to go immediately begin clashing. It does happen, but usually, okay? There's a need for approval and safety. There are attempts to understand roles. There are attempts to understand worldviews, and discussions of problems not relevant to the relationship is usually avoided. All right. So that's the beginning stage of group development. So let's look at it in dating. So usually you're being very polite. Usually you are trying to get to know the person. Usually you're not interested in controversy. Usually you're trying to figure out if this person is safe or not, whether that be emotional or physical safety. Usually you are not interested in discussing other people or how they like other people or how they enjoy other people. You are interested in this pleasant experience that you're having together. All right. So that's the forming stage. Some things that hinder us in the forming stage involve not really understanding the stages of dating and jumping in, expecting and demanding way too much too soon. What's too soon? Too soon is any time before the person is willing to give it. Somebody asked me today on my live earlier, why can't people just be honest and be upfront in the beginning? Remember, in the beginning, when you're just meeting one another, you're looking for safety and approval, usually. Okay. And somebody might say, well, I'm not looking for approval when I first meet a person. You do want the person to like you, let's be honest. You know, that's the whole point, right? And so you are looking for safety and you are interested in approval. And so the person is not really sure if you're safe or not. The person is not sure that you can handle what they have to say. And you're not sure that they can. So why wouldn't a person be honest up front in the beginning? Because during the forming phase, it's too soon. And what's too soon is any time before the person is willing to give it. Now, if you know that you need to know certain information, then it would behoove you to act in patience. Okay, so you don't really understand how the dating process works, and you come in wanting, expecting, and needing too much too soon. And then the reason that you want it with such urgency is because you have unresolved issues. You have an unresolved past. So nobody is teaching us about dating, and much less are they teaching us about healing. You see, every relationship, every situation, every experience influences and affects our energy field. Most people do not understand how to heal from past situations, whether it was relationships, friendships, parental relationships, siblings, school, whatever. Most people don't know how to heal. So they bring all of the unresolved energies from their past into this present moment, demanding, expecting, wanting, and needing. We're just in the forming phase. We just met. Okay? We just met. Your unresolved past will cause you to operate in lack. And you begin to plug into a program. One of the programs I talk about a lot, conditioning. This conditioning, these programs come from movies that we watch, books, watching peers, our own fantasies in our heads. We have looked at our parents' relationships and solved problems within our child mind and decided what this thing is supposed to look like. And so we start plugging into these programs or these conditions, ways of thinking that don't apply in this situation at all, because this is a person you've never met. You're in the forming phase, you don't know much about them, but you come in with your needs, with your standards, with your expectations, right? And you want to know, is this person the one? You're looking for actions, and you're looking for actions so you can judge them. You're not usually looking for actions so you can understand this individual. You're usually looking at what they're doing and saying, because most people are programmed to look for red flags. You see, because they're looking for the one. So red flags are really important because they could tell you whether or not the person is the one. And your red flags, again, come from your unresolved past. For example, the hot topic in the collective is narcissism and narcissists. Okay, so if you have dealt with a narcissist in the past, then you have read all the traits of a narcissist, and those are red flags. So as soon as you think you see a narcissistic trait in somebody, your radar goes up. It's a red flag. It's a notification. You're just in the forming stage. You don't know what this really is, but your unresolved past is informing you of what it is based upon the conditioning, and you get disappointed, right? You're looking to judge rather than understand. So what do I suggest? Understand, as we're moving along through these talks, that when you first meet a person, yes, focus on being polite. We try to get too deep too fast. We start expecting too much too soon. Where's the fun? Where's the enjoyment? Where is the enjoyment of the process of getting to know another being without judgment, without need, without requirements and standards, without the ego coming in talking about, I'm a person like this and I expect this because of your unresolved past? What do I suggest? I also suggest you start looking at your unresolved past. Okay. Some people say, I'm ready. I'm ready for a relationship. I'm ready for whatever. I'm ready for companionship. I'm ready for a person who really sees me. I'm ready. I would say, no, you're not. Because if you were ready, the person would be there. Okay, so let's take our minds off of being ready for something, because you think you know what readiness is, yet you have a whole subconscious that you have no clue what's in there. You have no clue what lessons you need, but you're ready. You're not ready if it's not there, because if you were ready, it would be there. So in the meantime, look at your unresolved past. What hurts have you been through? What questions do you still have? Do you still have questions about the person who ghosted you, or you feel ghosted you? Do you still have questions about whether or not a person really loved you? Do you still have questions about why they behaved a certain way? Are you still looking at your parents' relationship and deciding what you don't want from it? It's time for you to really look at those things and pull out what's true, because that's not your story. Maybe it's been the story you've told all the way up until now, but we are coming into a new way of being so that you can come through the lessons that need to be learned in order to be in a position that you want to be in where relationships are concerned. So no, you're not ready. You got lessons that you need, and part of those lessons are in your unresolved past. Your unresolved past is anything that is coming to your memory that you are trying to avoid. It's any red flag you're looking for. It's any contraction you experience when being in contact with a person or thinking about being with a person. Okay, and here's what you need to remember. The people who are in your attentional field right now, they need to be there. I'm not saying go and get all comfy and cozy and cuddle with them, but I'm saying back off of your judgments, back off of looking for the one, back off of I'm ready for this and I want that, and begin to tune into the people around you, because they are your reflections and they are your indicators of what wants to be resolved in you. I want to stay away from the word healing, because I feel that word is being way overused in the collective. And I want to refer to what we usually call healing as unresolved past. Your past wants to be resolved. You still have questions about how that was supposed to work, questions about what went wrong, right? People are your reflections of your unresolved past. Either they are reflecting your pattern, how you usually go about things, You should look at it. Do you usually do this when you meet people? Where does that come from? Where'd you learn it? What needs to be resolved so that you can shift this pattern? People who are in front of you reflect your power. Maybe there's something that you want to be. If there's something that you want to be, something you want more of, then you really want to move into understanding, right? People around you reflect how you're just like them. Okay. So we need to look at your unpleasant dating experience as a reflection of your unresolved past. It's not that dating is ghetto and people are like this and people are like that. You have unresolved past that come to you in the form of people and situations so you can resolve it. But as long as you're blaming it on dating, long as you're blaming it on COVID, long as you're blaming it on the way people are and social media, and long as you're blaming it on anything, rather than saying, okay, this is part of my unresolved issues, let me take a look at it, then you're going to continue to have the same experience because you're going to continue to need the same lessons. So what the collective is doing is isolating. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm not talking to nobody. I'm just going to be to myself. And if anybody tries to disturb my peace, I'm going to remove them from my life. I'm going to do this. And they are not resolving anything. And this is why they have the same story. So if you have had that story up until now, we're shifting that story because now we understand what's going on. So in the initial stages of dating, there's forming. When you are forming or getting to know the person, you want to be polite. So many people are like, oh, you're putting on the representative. You need the representative. Okay. Right now, you need to find the positive things that you can bond in. It's not about looking deep and going deep. And I want to know your fears. And I want to know your goals in the next 5 years. And I want to, do y'all know how to have fun? What do you enjoy doing? I enjoy the sun. Hey, let's go sit in the sun. And if you long distance, can we video chat and sit in the sun while we talk about such and such for 10 minutes? Learn how to enjoy rather than sit in your unresolved past and agree with the collective. Okay. So as I'm wrapping this up, I'd like to suggest a few things. Number one, you look at dating as a journey, as a beautiful experience of getting to know other beings, not looking for the one, not trying to see if this is different, not trying one last time because you're tired and you don't know how much your heart can take. These are the things we say. We're not trying because we finally want to be loved and we finally want someone to see us and we finally want acceptance. No, we're doing this because we have lessons to learn, and those lessons come with being relational. We're doing this because we want to learn more about ourselves through other people, and we actually enjoy that process. But guess what? If you're afraid of your own self, your own pain, your own thoughts, because you have your unresolved past, when you couldn't deal with the breakup, or when the thing hurts so bad and you don't want to feel that again. If you got all of that, then you're not going to be able to see this as an enjoyable experience. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to be holding back. It's going to seem too good to be true. Don't worry about if it's too good to be true, because in this initial phase, you're just trying to establish some kind of pleasure with the person. You're not worried about honesty. Like at what rate can a person be honest that you will accept it if you have unresolved trust issues? They could tell you 10 things. And because they didn't say the 11th thing, maybe because y'all didn't have enough time or y'all didn't broach the topic or they didn't know how to say it, you're ready to be untrusting. I knew it. I knew it. Also understand that when you just met a person, they were not in a monastery. Okay. So they likely were talking to other people. And they were likely at different phases with different people. And that could change quickly. So you got to back off and relax and enjoy this as a moment. There was a situation not long ago, a few months ago, there was a person that I started communicating with, and we were making plans to see one another on a particular weekend, but we wound up not doing that. So the weekend came and went, and that following Monday, I looked on their social media account and bam, they were in a relationship. And I had to sit back for a moment and look at that and say, okay, what likely happened? Right? I'm going to apply all the stuff I teach to my own situation. What likely happened? Well, when I know human behavior, so what probably happened was when I started talking to this person, they were already talking to several people and they were at different phases with several people. And this particular person was really close, but they hadn't made a commitment. So since we were not able to meet on that weekend, they went and met with the other person and hit it off and decided, hey, from this, we're ready to move on in a relationship. That person has done nothing wrong to me. That person wasn't dishonest. That person wasn't committing a crime. And I wasn't going to file that into the people can't be trusted category because I understand dating dynamics. Now, if that happened to you and you didn't say anything, you just went off and ignored them or started talking or blocked them or acted salty with them and didn't bring it up or brought it up and didn't accept it, then you got some unresolved issues. Your issues or your unresolved past, because I'm getting in the habit of saying unresolved past, your unresolved past wants to know, how does this work? What was really happening? Because sometimes you're never going to know from the person what really happened. So you're going to have to understand dynamics to be able to speak truth to yourself. This person, because I don't believe people are walking around being dishonest with me or whatever, I had no reason to think that this person just flat out lied. The person said they were single, and that's true. Now, just because they're single doesn't mean they're not talking to other people. Remember, me and this person were only at the forming stage. We just met. And that happens. Somebody listening to this, either on the replay or on tonight, had a situation like that occur. And you filed that away as people can't be trusted. This is why you don't like to get close to people, et cetera, et cetera. I suggest that as a possible way to resolve the energy is to understand that different relationships form different ways, different times. And the heart, I want to talk about this before I go. Your mind does not govern your heart. Your mind governs your behavior. Your soul governs your heart. So when they met up with that person and they had a blast, their hearts connected in a way that my heart didn't connect with them yet. And they chose to go along with their heart connection. They should have done that. They should have done that. Okay. So sometimes people are sitting around going, they weren't being honest and they could have just told me and they could have just did this. They didn't have to. They were caught up in the whirlwind of what they were having together and didn't see that it was important to say that to you. And that's okay. They don't have to. Now you have some additional information. Understanding human dynamics, relationship dynamics is going to be the centerpiece in shifting your dating experience to something dreadful to an actual beautiful journey of getting to know other people. Okay. So how do you know that you have unresolved past? You contract. You are ready to contract and react at the least little thing. Notice what makes you contract. Is it that they mention other people? They mention their ex is still around. Somebody told me recently that they didn't want to date anyone whose ex is still around. They contract around that. That's something you want to look at. Am I saying you need to accept everything from everybody? I'm not. I'm just saying when you first met a person, you're just meeting. Relax. Understand that this is a being who has been on this earth for however many years before you met him. And it's going to take some time to get to know him. So you're not looking for the one, you're not looking for honesty. You're no longer coming out of lack looking for something. You do have desires, but those desires feel expansive. Those desires are sourced from enjoyment. Those desires are sourced from your higher self, which is expansive. Contracting around what you don't want to experience again and what you never had, that's unresolved past. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. Remember, you're growing. Everybody's growing. We're human. Focus on being polite and enjoyable. Focus on listening and understanding. Listening for understanding, not listening to see something. You're listening to understand this being. You know, in yoga, we say namaste. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you. Look for your namaste experience, not the red flag experience. Or does this person match what I want? Checking off the checklist. Allow your divinity to acknowledge their divinity. You're just in the beginning phases, okay? So have fun, look at this as a journey, and resolve your past. If you need some assistance resolving your past, you can set up one-on-one coaching sessions with me at veronicamarie.com. My goal in these teachings is to give you a different way of thinking. Maybe not all of it is for you, but something is. And I hope you take that something and really think on it and absorb it into your being and practice it. And again, if you need some specific practice for your situation, just reach out to me at veronicamarie.com and I'll be happy to assist you. If you have any questions, please put them in the band group and I will address them on our call tomorrow night. I appreciate your presence. Thank you so much for your attention and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, y'all.